Join us at Women of Courage and celebrate the achievements of women. We are going to continue our discussion of the book, You Are the Prophet of Your Life. The book tells you that your business, your health, your education, and your family's future are affected by the decisions you make every day. Rash thinking can only create more and more problems where finally you cannot extricate yourself from your situation. Calm, cool headed thinking, on the other hand, protects your mental health, allowing you to make better decisions. Your future depends on the choices that you make. Every moment, somewhere in the world, things are changing, and you must change with the world. You must change the way you think to change the way that you live. When you read and you take life in a new direction, you gain control of yourself. That's it in a nutshell. You must continue to grow, which means you must continue to read. You must bring new information into your mind so you can see how it applies to your life. If you're approaching 45 and 50 and you're terrified that you're going to lose your job, then you need to gain control of yourself. Go find you some magazines and books and look at new frontiers that are opening up, in other words, new jobs, and then find out how you can retrain. There is no sense sitting at your desk being terrified that you're going to be given a pink slip. Prepare for the pink slip by going back to school. Stop torturing yourself with negative thinking. Yes, you're 45 years old. Nobody's going to want to hire you. But if you keep thinking that way, no one will hire you because you will not have skills associated with the future. But if you go to the library, talk to a librarian and find out what are the new skills that are being offered in local colleges, maybe you can find something that you will be good at instead of sitting at your desk being terrified. Being terrified is not going to help you. Making a positive decision to change your life is going to help you. Develop power in your mind by reading these two dynamic books. One is You Are the Prophet of Your Life, and the other is What You Must Do to Win. You will not be preached at or to in this book. The author went to a great length to give you information to build your self esteem and your confidence, and how to restore your faith in yourself, and how to help you stop negative thinking. Wake up the dream inside of you once more. Develop a plan. Realize this dream and let no one tell you you cannot succeed. Forget yesterday and embrace today and look forward to tomorrow. You will find only pain in the past. Tell yourself you choose to receive all that life has to offer. Tell yourself you choose to receive all that life has to offer. You are going to go out and meet new people, eat new food, and travel to new places, places that you've never seen. Now, listen to me carefully. Your success is determined by what you are willing to stop doing. Your success is determined by what you are willing to stop doing, which means you need to stop sitting at your desk worrying. The difference between an ordinary person and a person that prospers is the ordinary man thinks of many things. The successful and excuse me, I will repeat that. The difference between an ordinary person And a person that prospers is the ordinary man thinks of many things. The successful and prosperous man thinks of only one thing. He is focused. Another point, let go of yesterday and let go of the past and work solely toward future goals. In other words, you must develop your mind. An uncommon dream, now listen to this, an uncommon dream will bring you an uncommon enemy. As bad as it sounds, some of your relatives do not want to see you succeed. An uncommon enemy signifies a change in your life. When an enemy shows up, he is assigned to discourage you and to distract you. Identify your enemy by not advertising to him. Read Matthew 18:18 to 19. Call an intersection at times an enemy attacks you. Also, this tells you you are close to succeeding. Act like it's a parade. Celebrate an enemy into the next season of triumph. You will have a crowd around you that want to see how you react to misfortune. That's the trap of the enemy. When you read You Are the Prophet of Your Life and Women of Courage, these two books will bring peace to you, and they will also magnify your life and help you identify the uncommon enemy. Remember, you don't have to pay people to tell you how bad you're doing. They love to tell you how bad you're doing. Also, if you're doing well, they're going to shut up and not say anything because they do not mean you well, and they don't want to give you any encouragement, and they also don't want anyone else to know that you're doing better than they are. Mean, hateful, spiteful people, when they show up in your life, run. Are you tired of being miserable? Do you want to see change come into your life? Well, to bring that change into your life, you must begin to think differently. Whatever you consistently say to yourself, you will believe. If you are constantly telling yourself that you are no good, that you cannot learn, that no one will want you, then that is what you will believe, and that will be the results of your life. You will not be able to learn, and no one will want you. You will keep talking yourself into trouble. I am going to repeat some information that we discussed earlier, I think in our 5th session. This is very important. You must have some information about yourself in order to change. You must have an idea of your self-image. You must have an idea of your self-esteem, whether you have what we would consider a normal self-esteem or low self-esteem. This is very important if you're going to attempt a change. If you are not satisfied with the person who you are, then you must change that person. But in order to change that person, you need tools. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Now,
you need to live life with a purpose. You need to spend the time needed to explore, to find your true passion. There are so many unhappy people in this world not willing to make a change. There are so many unhappy people not focusing on the big picture. 1 out of 3 people are happy with their lives. Think about that for a second. 70% of the people you see every day are not happy. And the majority of that has to do with purpose. People are programmed, wired to be okay with the minimum. People stay in jobs they're not passionate about. They date people who don't support them, hang out with people who don't help them grow. This can't be you. You need to spend the time to discover what your true calling is. What are you passionate about? What do you see yourself doing to make your mark? Are you in a job right now that you're truly happy with? Do you wake up every morning excited to start your day? If not, that's okay. You know now this isn't fulfilling you. But what are you gonna do about it? Are you willing to make a change to help reach your goals? If you are, it needs to start now. Because this won't happen overnight, finding your true calling. But once you do, you will see how everything changes. You will begin to see the quality of your life increase. All those problems you had, they slowly fade. You begin to see how powerful life is with a purpose. What we need to focus on now is bringing positive energy into the world. The energy that we project every day is the same energy that we get back. We've all seen those people that can walk into a room and they glow. People want to be around them. People feel better being in their presence. That's the energy that we need to create. And once we learn how to do this, our life will be filled with greatness. We will attract that positive energy. And how we do this is by changing our outlook, leading every day with gratitude, thankfulness, optimism. And once you do this, you will see the change. I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. Think about everything positive in your life. Family, friends, a career, your faith. All of this is how you start your day. Every morning you wake up, I want you to think about what is positive in your life. I want you to list 10 reasons of why your life is amazing. And once you do this, you will see the change. You will be the change. You will begin to attract life's blessings. Lead with gratitude. Be thankful. And think positive. It's just as important to how you end the day as it is to how you start the day. And that's with positivity. Now, we can't change what has happened today, but we can change our thoughts into tomorrow. Now, before you sleep, you need to make sure you're in a calm state of mind. No phones, no tablets, no distractions. I want you to start thinking about all of your dreams and goals coming true. I want you to really picture how life would be once you meet those goals. How happy would you be? How would your life change can start to feel the anxiety of the day slowly fade. You can start to feel the heaviness turn into light. Every moment you stay in this calm state, you start to feel better, feel more confident. You start to feel more assured. This is how you end every day, thinking about your goals, thinking about your accomplishments, thinking about the positive people in your life, all the support you have, all the people wishing you success. This is how you end your day. A calm state with positive thoughts. Your future is now. Visualize it into tomorrow.
There are a million and one things that you can teach your children to prepare them for life, to keep them from making mistakes that will cost their lives, or mistakes that can lead them to prison or being used by every person they meet. You do not have time to live a mediocre life, taking every man you meet to bed and bringing these men into your home for your children to see. You must learn to read and master a skill so you can provide adequately for your children. You need a car, you need an education, and you need a home. All of this takes time to achieve, so you do not have time to fool around. If you did not do well in school, you know you have a lot of work ahead of you. You are going to have to establish a plan to get where you need to go. You are going to have to plan for babysitting, getting a car, finding better housing, away from people who just want to steal and kill. You are going to have to improve your reading skills. You are going to have to find a trade school to attend, then a junior college. You're going to have to do some elaborate planning. All of your efforts will be because you have provided your children with information that can help them in managing their lives. For example, you must teach your son 5 things to survive in life. You must teach him to read. If you cannot teach him to read, you must find someone who can teach him to read. This is a priority. You must make certain that all of your children can read. You must keep your son away from ignorant people, including your relatives, especially if they are superstitious. You must teach your son to keep his body clean, which means that you have to provide them with soap and deodorant. This means you do not have money to give to your boyfriend to buy weed. If your boyfriend wants to buy weed, tell him to get a job to take care of his needs. Thousands of children every day come to school smelling of weed in their with that odor in their hair, or smelling unpleasant because they have not bathed or used deodorant. Children must have a habit of taking care of their bodies. You must teach your son to speak well. Again, if you cannot do this, then find someone who can. There is information on the internet about learning how to speak. You must teach your son social skills. One day he is going to need these skills, even if these skills just help him to impress a woman. Remember, your child is a human being. He is going to want to get ahead in life. He is going to want people to like him. And most of the time, getting ahead in life involves personal hygiene, listening skills, speaking skills, and social graces. And finally, you must teach him a skill where he can earn money. There are skills that you can teach your child to earn money, enough to pay for bus fare to get to a trade school to learn a better skill like carpentry, electrician, plumbers. He does not have to remain an electrician or a plumber for the rest of his life, but at least he will have some rudimentary skills to enter the job market to support himself, so he does not have to babysit for his girlfriend's children and live in his girlfriend's house because he cannot support himself. This is where men get in trouble babysitting for someone else's children. The men end up beating these children and killing the children, and then the man ends up in prison. Make certain that you tell your son he is not a babysitter. He must go and get himself a job, and I don't care if the job is washing windows or washing dishes in a restaurant. It's honest labor, and he can respect himself for working. Teach your son that it is not smart to look for women with children so he can babysit and avoid working and taking responsibility for his life. Tell your son it is not smart to babysit and avoid working. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Now,
need a publisher? Contact Touched by the Light Publishing Services today. We can help. We can help you write, publish, or promote your book. Get the best book publishing services available. Call 734-786-3233. Leave your contact information and we will get back to you. Or email your contact information to yithril11@netzero.net. Get the best proofreading, editing services, book cover and website development, book trailers, and more. Email us at yithril11@netzero.net to get started. We are self-publishing made easy. We empower independent authors. We can help you write, publish, or promote your book. Once you contact us, the hard part is over. Self-publish your work quickly, easily, and affordably today. Call 734-786-3233. Leave contact information or email contact information to yithril11@netzero.net. That's all there is to it. Now you can leave the rest to us. Ready to show the world what you've been working on? Call 734-786-3233 today and let's get started. Dear listeners, help us save a life. Stop breast cancer from taking lives. Will you assist us in putting the booklet, Black Women and Breast Cancer, into the hands of 1 million people? Please go to the website touchedbythelight.us and download the booklet, Black Women and Breast Cancer. Then email this booklet to 5 family members and friends, asking them to email the booklet to 5 of their friends. We're trying to reach 1 million women with this information to save lives. The death of 1 woman to breast cancer from our community is 1 woman too many. We thank you for your support.
dear male listeners, our show may be called Women of Courage, but our name should not stop you from listening to our show. You have as much to learn and to consider as women. Why? Because many of you are fathers, sons, and brothers, and you need to understand those forces and situations that affect the female members of your family. So we do implore you to listen to our show with an ear for understanding. Thank you. Okay, so maybe you do not think there is anything wrong with your life. You do not have to do anything. You do not have to do any planning or reading. You can just do what you want to do. You can continue drinking, smoking, and chewing your fingernails every time worry overcomes you or things do not go your way. Just remember this: sometimes in life, not all changes are voluntary. Some changes are forced. Catastrophic events can take place in your life and force you to change. Then you will have no alternative but to change. if you choose to survive. Therefore, in order not to be forced into changing, you need to consider changing your life at this very moment. Remember this regarding reading. All it takes is for you to hear one word that will transform your life. The word becomes the kernel of change. You may begin saying to yourself, maybe I can find a job. Maybe I can go back to school. Maybe I can buy a new house. Maybe me and my husband can work things out. You never know, but one thing is for certain. Nothing will change if you do not change it first. Do you want to change your life? Are you tired of doing things the same way over and over again without seeing any results? If so, it's time to apply the truth of God's Word in order to transform your life. Having values and ethics is a fundamental position of change. Have you accepted responsibility for the outcome of your life? Or are you looking to someone or something outside of yourself to determine your direction? You have the power to change yourself by making a quality decision to obey God's word and to submit to his will. You must learn to take control of your destiny by changing the person that matters most, you. Consider this. Do you know how to make wise decisions? Or have you found yourself in a vicious cycle of bad decision making? The decisions you make now will affect your future, positively or negatively. You need to learn how to make wise decisions. You can do this by examining good decision makers. Did you know love and selfishness are the two most powerful forces on the earth? Everything you do is driven by one of the two. You need to learn how to examine your heart and your intentions regarding your family, your children, and other people. You also need to learn how to get selfishness out of your life, how to make a decision to change and walk in love. Now, so far, all I have said is to change. What I have not discussed is how do you go about accomplishing change. First of all, you need a platform to stand on. The platform is your belief in the need for you to bring change into your life so that you can live better and be more productive, so that you can lead your children into a better realm of living. Once you establish a platform, you need to list what you need to do to change your life. What it is that you do not like about yourself, your circumstances, the people who are around you, your job, etc. Take your time and list everything. Then you need to prioritize the list. For example, you do not like the money you're making. You want more money to meet your expenses. Okay? The problem is, how do I get this money? You can ask for a raise. You can invent something. You can go back to school. You can work 2 jobs. Look at the options, then make a realistic choice. You may decide to go back to school, but transportation is your current problem. You may have to work a second job to get money to purchase a car so you can go back to school. You also may want to try and invent something. This you can put on your list to do in your spare time as a hobby. You can also look around for what the world needs inventing. Remember, you make money by supplying a need that society has. Now, during your planning, you must consider time. You may have to rewrite your list several times, incorporating how long each of these tasks will take to complete. This way, you will be refining your goals. As you are refining your plans, you must consider what tools you will need to bring about this change that you so desire. Next, then you need to formulate a plan. Once the plan is formulated, then you need to implement the plan. One decision you might have to make before you can fully implement your plan, and that is to move. It is essential that you get away from negative speaking and negative acting people. You need encouragement when you attempt to change. You do not need someone in your ear constantly telling you that you cannot make it. Another thing you might have to do before implementing your plan, and that is to learn to shut up. That's right, to stop talking. Never discuss money with anyone, especially your friends. Where you bank, how much you make, where you work. Say nothing about money. Anytime you discuss money, jobs, aspirations, You can invoke envy and jealousy in people, and these people will become your enemy to keep you from getting ahead. You do not need any more roadblocks that you have now, so learn to keep your mouth shut. If you have to talk, then drive to another city. Go into a bar, talk to the bartender, then leave him a tip and go home. Bartenders know how to keep their mouths shut. Besides, you do not live in the area, so what you say will not get out. When you move, change your phone number. Do not give anyone your phone number. Find a church to attend for entertainment and relaxation. Do not look for a man to be your babysitter. You may get your children raped or killed doing this. Never make an assumption about a man. There are thousands of women living in this country who have been traumatized by the death of their children because they trusted a man. Trust no one and you may live to get old. Some of the best planners in this world are generals. You should read books about General Patton, General MacArthur, and General Schwarzkopf. These men were 3 and 4-star generals. You should examine how they think. One does not attain these ranks and be a poor thinker and a poor planner. These men are good people to emulate. There is one change you must accept that you have to make in your life if you truly want to survive as a human being, and that change is reading. Knowledge comes from reading. Understanding comes from reading. Tolerance and forbearance comes from reading. If you do not read, you have effectively isolated yourself from every human being on this planet. So today you should decide to change. Either you need to learn to read, or once you learn to read, you need to continue to read. And if you already know how to read, you need to pick up a book written by your fellow countrymen and find out what he or she is thinking. Reading helps to shape a man's thoughts. Reading brings about inspiration. And reading can also bring about belief in oneself. Remember this verse? And God said, "Son, pay attention to what I say. Listen to my words. Never let them get away from you. Remember them and keep them in your heart. They will give life and health to anyone who understands them. Be careful what you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts." One method to teach your children to read is to provide them with books. Books should be in every room of your house and in your car. Whenever you are driving, tell your child to read the book in your car. Now your child may be 2 or 3 years old, but you still tell him or her to pick up the book and read it. As you are driving, ask your child to tell you what he's reading. Now he's going to tell you what he's reading from his imagination, what he has seen in the pictures. But the point here is that he has learned that reading comes from a book. A book can tell him something. He has learned that he can go to a book and get information. As your child grows, he will begin reading more and more. If your child sees you read, he will read. At this juncture, I'm going to introduce some information on reading. This is extremely important. Reading will determine the consequences of your life. Reading will help you learn how to deal with the problems of low self-esteem. Reading will help you learn a new profession. Reading will help you learn how to deal with other people. I have discussed reading on several of my shows. I made these discussions because I believe reading is important. I think reading is a fundamental function in life. I truly believe the more one reads, the greater the life a person can potentially have. This is why I'm going to discuss reading again. I do not think I can talk enough about reading. Reading is one of the most important activities that a person can participate in. A world of information is available to you when you read. This information can help you shape and change your life. Reading can instruct you on how to conduct a conversation at an embassy, how to talk to people that you do not know, how to talk to people about everyday subjects that they would enjoy. Reading can help you learn how to fish. Reading can help you learn how to solve math problems. Reading can help you learn a new profession. Reading can help you learn how to eat better, how to meet people, how to select a hobby. The field is endless to what reading can offer you. What I want to do today is to help you to develop a conviction for reading. Let's explore the word conviction. The word conviction is a noun. The word conviction has two meanings. One is a formal declaration that someone is guilty of a criminal offense made by the verdict of a jury or the decision of a judge in a court of law. For example, one can say in a sentence, she had a previous conviction for a similar offense. So in this situation, we know we're talking about someone that is a felon. The second meaning for the word conviction is a firmly held belief or an opinion. This is the meaning that we are going to consider today. Think about a firmly held belief or an opinion. Religion is a firmly held conviction. What we want to do today is to develop a firmly held conviction that reading can change our lives. Therefore, we should read every day. I'm going to try to prove to you today that if you begin a lifetime of reading, these efforts will change your life forever, and that your efforts in reading will impact your family more than you can imagine. Because when your children see you read, they will learn the value of reading from your behavior. Studies have shown that the third grade is the tipping point for future success as a learner and a member of society. Up to the third grade, we learn to read. After the third grade, we read to learn. If this critical skill is not mastered by age 8, people not only fall behind in school, they fall behind in life. And the proof of that is in our prison system. Our prisoners are filled with people who do not know how to read. The men in prisons are fathers, sons, and brothers needed in our homes. The women that are in prison are the mothers and daughters and sisters that are needed in the home. Reading will restore men and women. Reading will restore families, and reading will heal the wounds caused by the inability to read. Reading is not a simple behavior. Reading is intricate in formulating how you want to live your life. When you cannot read, you will not pay your bills correctly. You will not buy the right car. You will not know how to purchase a home. You will not know how to complete your income tax. You will waste money in bars. You will purchase cheap items to bolster your self-esteem. You will live in a poor neighborhood. You will not have a savings account or checking account because you don't know how to manage banking and checking accounts. You will pay more money for goods and services. You will be at the mercy of your fellow man. Your children may or may not go to college. Many of the girls will become pregnant and never graduate from high school. You will suffer with many illnesses brought on because of a poor diet or poor eating habits and tradition. You will become more and more adamant and shun change, all because you do not have the knowledge you need from reading. The Women of Courage show is dedicated to improving the lives of people we serve. This is why we have designed the Wall Project to provide books for people in prison. The purpose of this program is to try and rehabilitate prisoners before they are paroled. We want to change the way that they think, and books can help do that. The reason why so many men and women end up in prison is because they are ill prepared to assume the responsibility of adulthood, and they cannot read. They are illiterate. Because of their illiteracy, they cannot find jobs or express themselves without violence. Once rejected from the job market, they turn to crime to make a living, and they turn to drugs to bolster their self esteem. If the men and the women in prison are not rehabilitated while in prison, when they are paroled, they will not be able to compete in the job market, and they will repeat the same behavior. People will be killed on the streets, homes will be broken into, and elderly women will be murdered in their beds. Now imagine you are a student in school and you have been assigned to give a speech before your class. You've never given a speech before, so what do you do? Do you sit and fret about giving the speech, or do you seek information that will tell you how to give that speech? If you are smart, you will go to the library and ask a librarian if she can give you some good books on how to give a speech. Whether you are a student in school or an adult at work or in your community, there are times in our lives when we are asked or told to give a speech. There is no way out of it. No matter how you feel about it, you have the assignment and you have to do it. This probably wouldn't be a problem except for the fact that public speaking is the number one fear of most people. However you feel about doing this task, reading a book on how to give a speech can be life changing. Reading a book about giving a speech that can make your task easier and your life easier, more comfortable, and less stressful if you follow the experience of the author. To seek the advice of a librarian, you learn that reading can help you out of your problem, that reading can give you the solution to some of the problems that you are experiencing in life. Now, here is another example of the consequences of reading. Imagine it is around 1938 or 1939 in Germany. A book was written that changed the lives of 80 million people. Let me say this again. There was a book written in Germany that ended up changing the lives of 80 million people. A man in Germany wrote a book in 1937. The book he wrote changed the lives of millions of people all around the world, every ethnic group. The man's name was General Heinz Wilhelm, last name spelled Guderian. He was a military theorist. The title of the book that he wrote was ACHTUNG. I would say that it's translated as the word attention. Now, the book was not a bestseller, but it caught the attention of one man in Germany. That man was Hitler. Hitler was just coming to power in Germany, and he had made up his mind that he wanted to invade Poland and Czechoslovakia. And he was trying to figure out how he could do it successfully. And this book gave him the idea of how to conquer these two countries. What a book for Hitler to read. Hitler learned to use the airplane for artillery. The book also gave Hitler the idea of how to use tanks, how to keep tanks that were in constant communication with one another via a radio. This had never been done in warfare. Although France had the superior tank, the tanks were not managed the way that Hitler decided to manage them. Hitler developed the Panzer unit as a superior fighting force, and he did this by studying the attack techniques described in the book. The information written in the book by this general changed military history forever. If Hitler had not read this book, the course of human history would have been much, much different. Think of all the changes in the world that have taken place because some man or woman read a particular book that spurred them on to invent a new way of doing something, or a new invention like the wash machine or the elevator or the fire hydrant. So far, we have discussed how reading affects people in their daily lives, how reading affects people that commit crimes, and how reading affects people experiencing a social upheaval. Now we need to decide how reading is going to affect you.
A Chinese proverb says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. You should never be afraid of taking the bold step. You want to change a career at 40? Go for it. You need to acquire a new skill to boost your income? Go for it. You love someone but are scared to tell them? Come on, do it now. No one would kill you for that. It's the story of your life. Don't let anyone else but you be the writer. You can look beyond the facade of whatever despair and disappointment you are currently facing. Don't ever look down on yourself. If you ever have to look down, make sure it's your shoes you're admiring. You need a companion to help you through life? You need a companion to help make your decision-making a lot easier? That companion is You Are the Prophet of Your Life. Order yours now and live the life you've always wanted. You can read the first chapter of this book by going to https://touchedbythelight.us. Are you confused about the situation of life? Or are you discouraged about your present situation? Or have you been discouraged that you can never amount to something due to past failure? Or are you loaded with lots of fear? Or are you depending on friends to survive for a living? Worry no more. We have information today that will help you on your way to living a better, more fulfilling life. We have for you today a book very loaded and well packaged, titled The Prophet of Your Life. This book will enlighten you on who you are, how to build yourself, and how to be a prophet of your life. Many of us feel passing through hard times and feel the world is crashing out on you. Do you feel that there is nothing to life anymore? Probably you are even contemplating to condemn yourself. You don't need to suffer in silence. If there is anything in your life that you don't like, you can change it. You don't have to cope with that situation anymore. What you need is a touch of light through the right knowledge that will make you become a prophet of your own life. It is only in your darkest hours that you may discover the true strength of the brilliant light within yourself that can never, ever be dimmed. You Are the Prophet of Your Life is an exceptional book that will expand your understanding of violence and offer measures to prevent violence against women, children, and the community. It will help you to make informed and timely decisions that can help save lives, enrich your soul, enlighten your mind, and make you understand that capacity inside you to change things. If you desire to nourish your mind, grow, and get to greater heights, then choose to be the prophet of your own life by taking advantage of this rare opportunity. Knowledge is your best weapon against evil. A lot of us live lives, but only few live their dream lives. A lot of us have lofty dreams. We want to have successful relationships. We want to own big corporations. We want to raise beautiful families, but only a few of us are able to fulfill their desires. A lot of people are confused about how to live their lives to the fullest, so they end up living a life of mediocrity. Maybe that describes you. You are not alone. Well, understand, first of all, that life is not rocket science. So what you put in is what you get. If you fall into the category of people who do not have the willpower to live their own lives, then I've got news for you. You Are the Prophet of Your Life is the book you need. It doesn't only help solve a lot of personal problems, it also provides practical guidance on how you can move from the realm of dreaming to the realm of doing, so that you can achieve your heart's desires. You must realize that the only limitations in this life are the ones we put on ourselves. You must realize that the only limitations in this life are the ones we put on ourselves. Read a copy now and live the life you've always wanted. We at Touched by the Light Publishing hope you enjoyed our presentation and realize you can enjoy a more fruitful and fun-filled life after reading You Are the Prophet of Your Life.
I am going to repeat some information that we discussed earlier, I think in our 5th session. This is very important. You must have some information about yourself in order to change. You must have an idea of your self-image. You must have an idea of your self-esteem, whether you have what we would consider a normal self-esteem or low self-esteem. This is very important if you're going to attempt a change. If you are not satisfied with the person who you are, then you must change that person. But in order to change that person, you need tools.
Why get up in the morning to live your nightmare the whole day? Doing things that make it a horrible day. Wasting time and taking pain. Just wishing for things to change. Without realizing you can be the change. You can be the prophet of your own life. You are the solution. You can turn your life around. You can still complete your education. You can still find a better job. You can still find love. You can still be happy. Take control of your life. Live the life you deserve because you are the prophet of your life. You can read the first chapter of the book by going to the website https://touchedbythelight.us. Order You Are the Prophet of Your Life today. A Chinese proverb says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. You should never be afraid of taking the bold step. You want to change a career at 40? Go for it. You need to acquire a new skill to boost your income? Go for it. You love someone but are scared to tell them? Come on, do it now. No one would kill you for that. It's the story of your life. Don't let anyone else but you be the writer. You can look beyond the facade of whatever despair and disappointment you are currently facing. Don't ever look down on yourself. If you ever have to look down, make sure it's your shoes you're admiring. You need a companion to help you through life. You need a companion to help make your decision-making a lot easier. That companion is You Are the Prophet of Your Life. Order yours now and live the life you've always wanted. You can read the first chapter of this book by going to https://touchedbythelight.us.
One of the most effective ways of getting ahead in life is by learning from the mistakes and successes of other people. This way, one can avoid the mistakes other people have made and possibly achieve success faster. This is one of the reasons why you cannot afford not to read the series Women of Courage. In this series of books, the lives and times of several women were chronicled who by sheer courage conquered the world around them. These women are examples of the quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "When a resolute young fellow steps up to the great bully, which is the world, and takes him boldly by the beard, he is often surprised to find out that the beard comes off in his hand and that it was only tied on to scare away the timid adventurer. These are ordinary women like all of us, but they were determined to do extraordinary things. From the stories of their lives, you will learn how to stop making and living a mediocre life and start conquering your world and living on your own terms. For them, failure was not an option. Rather, it was an opportunity to refire and reach for their goals again. They have shown tremendous courage, so much that their lives could easily serve as a template for other women to emulate. Your primary starting point is believing in yourself and encouraging yourself even in the face of failure and naysayers. Thomas Edison failed numerous times, but he kept going. Finally, he won and invented the light bulb and other inventions. The same with Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln failed at politics many times. He even ran for dog catcher and lost, but he kept running for public office until he was elected president. One thing about the series Women of Courage, the books are not ordinary books. These books will challenge you, push you, and of course inspire you to gain your life again. Remember, a man is what he thinks about all day. So said Ralph Waldo Emerson. Join us at the Women of Courage show every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. for information that will change your life. You can also visit us at our website, touchedbythelight.us, for more information.